Hello, welcome to Trump 47 Watch. Today's episode provides some brief updates on the current tariff situation under President Trump. I'm Merrick Masters, Professor of Business Emeritus, commentator, podcaster, and author. You can find me at my email address and YouTube channel. Today is September the 24th, 2025. I'm going to provide the highlights, and I've sourced the references so that you can go for further inspection if you so desire. We'll talk about international trade by country, region, international trade by month, tariff rates by selected country and product sector, customs revenues as a composition of the overall federal budget for January through August of this fiscal year. U.S. trade by country. You can see here that trade is relatively concentrated in a handful of countries, but it is nonetheless worldwide. And there is a significant amount of trade outside of these selected countries. But our top trading partners in the year 2024 were Mexico, Canada, China, the United Kingdom, Germany, Japan, South Korea, Ireland, India, and Switzerland, etc. We did over $1.481 trillion in trade with the European Union, which is a collection of 27 countries. U.S. imports and exports and the balance between the two over the months between January and July of this year. Imports have declined from over $400 billion a month in March to less than that amount, while exports have also shrunk or remained relatively constant, I should say, over the time period at around $300 billion. And you can see that because of the decline in imports, the trade balance has shrunk since April, or really its peak in March, which was significantly over $100 billion, and now it's about $78 billion. Trades by goods and industry. These are goods such as industrial supplies, foods, capital goods, autos, consumer goods, and other goods. And I focused here primarily on auto, but you can look at the other data for a comparison between the situation in roughly the first 7 months of 2024 to the first 7 months of 2025. And in autos, you can see that in terms of exports, the value of auto exports declined about 9% during this period, and the value of auto imports declined 9% in this period. Tariff rates by selected countries and product sector. There are several different types of tariffs with varying applicability across country with varying exemptions. Product-related tariff rates are comparatively high in this regard, and they have more universal application in terms of country, but are often more confined with respect to product or the way in which products are shipped. And you can see here, for example, in Mexico and Canada, two of our largest trading partners, which are covered by the U.S. Mexican-Canadian trade agreement, that for products or imports that are compliant to the U.S., there is a zero tariff rate, but there is, in the case of Mexico, a 25% fentanyl tariff rate. In the case of Canada, there's a 35% fentanyl rate. We're still negotiating with the Chinese on the final terms of an agreement, but right now there's a 10% reciprocal rate and a 20% fentanyl rate. For product sector tariffs, you can see that in steel and aluminum, it's 50%. Auto and auto parts, it's 25%, with a carve out for products that are compliant with the U.S., Mexican, Canadian trade agreement. Copper, it's 50%. And transshipping are those things which are basically made in other countries, but in the country actually doing the exporting are packaged there and shipped to the United States, essentially to avoid a tariff rate on the country of origin. It's 40%. As a percentage of total receipts between January and August of this year, or the fiscal year through 2025, January through August, you can see that we had total receipts of $4.6 billion, and the amount that we collected from customs was 165 billion, or 3.5% of that total. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. Stay tuned for more updates about the tariff situation and other policy developments under the Trump administration. Thank you and have a good day.